Today on 21st Century Television, join us as we explore innovative technologies, cutting-edge solutions, and timely discussions from leaders across the globe. Featuring guest host Donald Trump Jr. This is 21st Century Television.
Welcome to 21st Century Television. I'm Donald Trump Jr. Organizations these days are faced with many challenges when it comes to managing and governing large amounts of electronic data that continue to grow at an exponential rate. Here today to discuss how his company is helping organizations with their data needs, we have Chris McVeen, president of Bishop Technologies. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Don.
Chris, why are so many companies struggling to manage and organize their data?
Well, if you've looked at any report over the past couple of years, most show a sharp incline in the amount of data that companies are accruing year by year. You have that factored on top of lack of systems potentially to track and coordinate what this data is, where it's at, and what do I do with it. And so even to make it more complicated, that there's regulations out there for most industries on what they need to follow to maintain that data going forward. So with that, the interpretation gets lost potentially. The understanding of how do we get to that point, how do we understand what we have to do to move forward is a challenge.
How are you specifically helping these companies manage their information this way?
So we like to take a holistic approach to what we do. And what that means is that when you're usually approached by a company, by a specific business unit, maybe it's their legal team, a team that specializes in e-discovery, an organization that has this requirement. So they come to you saying, hey, we need to meet these regulatory compliance demands that we have on us. And moving forward, what do we do? So as part of that plan, it's not just about what they want to. The realization is that the entire firm or company has to also abide by this and buy into it. Because in order to have a successful information governance plan, everybody needs to be on board, not just the one segment that needs it. So we like to consult with everyone, go through what their needs are, build a plan, put it all together, create it, implement it, and then move forward with explaining to them how this is going to work, and then provide support to them because there's always going to be tweaks to it. It's not a static implementation of information governance policy. It always changes.
Let's take a look at Bishop Technologies' leadership and expertise in this on-location field report.
Today it's not about just email, it's about SharePoint, it's about file share, it's about public folders and how I can manage and control all that data. So how we address the solutions to the concerns of managing that data is because of our insight and our recognition in the industry, we have access to the latest technology. So we can help clients today to manage that data in place, give them more flexibility and insight to that data, which allows them more control.
Simply put, in-place information management is the practice of managing most, if not all, information assets inside native repositories. Managing in place is advantageous because you get better visibility and control of the data. It's more suitable for cloud-based applications like Office 365, and it's incredibly more cost efficient.
It's very important for our clients to have one person and one group to go to for their needs. Because it eliminates a lot of the other clutter and other items that they have to do in their day. So that's why a lot of our clients, make us their primary source for their migration and data, projects.
Why did you choose to focus specifically on information management, on information governance, and data migration?
Well, from our perspective, it was all a natural fit. It started with information governance and building out our ability to offer our support and knowledge and expertise to our clients and guide them through what can be very difficult to take on. Security aspect of it was only a natural evolution of that, an add-on, if you will, to information governance, because you're going to want to protect what you have in place as the data is in transit to make sure that your plan, your information governance plan, is solid. And then on top of that was the migrations, is being able to move people as, again, time goes on to help them adjust to their ever-changing needs.
Chris, how do you help your clients deal with the risks and costs associated with data proliferation?
Well, that's an excellent question. And where we typically start is data identification, finding out what you have in the first place, what do you have from the past up to the present, and identifying what that is and where it's at. And then what you do is you move on to policies. You establish how you want to have that data stored, what data you want stored going forward. So you establish past, present, and future at that point. And then the next step is to really consider a term called defensible deletion. So what really defensible deletion is data that you don't need to actually have. It doesn't serve any purpose, whether from a business perspective, legal or regulatory. So there was a survey done by the Compliance, Governance, and Oversight Council in 2012 that went to find out what data is actually needed in an organization, and you'd be surprised to find that 69% of that data actually serve no business purpose, legal or regulatory. So you can imagine from that standpoint, there's a huge data savings that can be had in removing data that doesn't matter anymore in your environment.
So what are some of the typical problems your clients face, and how does Bishop help solve those problems?
E-discovery concerns would be first and foremost. So either they're under a litigation request, they need assistance on how to do the search, how to formulate it, or they have problems with just data integrity. They may have had an event happen within their systems and they're concerned that they may be compromised to some aspect or not be able to meet a regulatory compliance. So we go in, help identify what that is, and make sure it's fully documented so that if ever becomes a concern in the future, they have proper documentation showing that they identified it.
Has the rapid adaptation of cloud-based technologies changed the way your business works and how you look at it?
From our core principles of information governance to what we follow, no. However, how we go about applying the technology has. The adaptation to the cloud changed the way you have to focus on it, because most of the data was under one roof, under your own network. And now you're talking about something that doesn't exist in one of your silos. It's out on the internet, and there's different ways you have to look at it. One of the policies that we're focused on going forward that we're trying to help educate with our clients is something called management in place. So the idea is before was to take copies of data, pull it into a system, and then analyze it from that point. You can imagine that's very time consuming, not only costly because you got to now increase your storage just to analyze the data that's already there. So the idea is go, let's not interfere with its native repository. Let's go ahead and just have tools in place that just look at it and allow the natural execution of that system to work, such as an email system or document management system, without interfering with the user experience, but at the same time accomplishing what you need in your information governance policy.
Well, it sounds like Bishop Technologies is very dedicated to solving what would be a pretty big problem for a lot of companies. So thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you for watching 21st Century Television. I'm Donald Trump Jr.